Let me know what's your thought on this. Parliament to debate law to give PM power to lock down crime hotspots under Zones of Special Operations Bill. The Prime Minister is seeking sweeping new powers to declare any community in Trinidad and Tobago a zone of special operations under legislation to be laid in Parliament on Friday, January 16, a move that will allow for joint police and military operations, curfews, and movement restrictions once the bill is passed into law. The Zones of Special Operations, Special Security, and Community Development Measures Bill 2026 proposes a new national security framework aimed to communities affected by violent crime, gang activity, and serious threats to public order. If approved by Parliament, the bill will allow the Prime Minister, by order, to designate specific geographical areas as zones of special operations, triggering extraordinary security measures designed to restore law and order. Within a declared zone, police and members of the Trinidad and Tobago Defence Force would operate under a joint command structure with expanded powers to establish checkpoints, restrict entry and exit, conduct stop and search operations, and impose curfews. The proposed legislation also provides legal protection for security officers acting in good faith during zone of special operations and creates new criminal offences for breaching curfews, obstructing security operations, or interfering with checkpoints. In addition to enforcement, the bill includes a community development component mandating the creation of social transformation committee to coordinate social services, employment initiatives, education programs, and youth interventions within declared zones. The framework is modeled closely on Jamaica's Zone of Special Operation legislation, which has been used to combine military-supported policing with social intervention programs in high-crime communities. While the government is expected to argue that the bill is necessary to confront escalating violent crime, it is also likely to generate strong debate in Parliament and the wider public over civil liberties, freedom of movement, and the scope of executive authority. The proposed legislation marks the first attempt to introduce zones of special operations in Trinidad and Tobago. Should it pass, it will represent a significant shift in the country's crime-fighting strategy. Debate is expected when the bill is laid in Parliament on January 16th. Listen to me, I am all for the government of putting things in place to deal with crime. But let me show you something. They will have to do some serious cleaning up in the TTPS and the Defense Force. Yo guys, listen.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Yerakah Kodash. Double honor unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000 men. Alright, back with another video. The Prime Minister, the Parliament basically is to give the Prime Minister power to lock down crime, so-called crime hotspots under Zones of Special Operations Bill. Right, basically they're gonna target certain so-called hotspots in Trinidad and Tobago and basically target them. Basically, it's following on from the state of emergency which they had in Trinidad and Tobago. By law, they could only have it for a certain period of time. So now what they're doing now is changing the legislation now. All right, making a law to make a law where we're gonna have zones of special operations. All right, and I'm very sure that these areas gonna be where Jake primarily is, the so-called Negroes. All right, the so-called West Indian Negroes. All right, which are Jake. All right, don't be surprised. All right, don't be surprised with what they're doing. And she best believe all this, is being stirred up because due to her relationship with Trump, and obviously the elites, are the ones running the show behind the scene. So this is the secret council of the wicked. Don't be mistaken. All right, they're gonna pound you Jakes into the ground. All right, that's really what they're gonna do. This is the Book of Psalms, 64 and verse 2. It says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." Then that's why she's coming now all of a sudden with all these higher so-called they say there's not tariffs, but these penalties for driving infractions, what ridiculous penalties. All right, baby, to tax the people into oblivion. All right, it says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words." And how they do it? By law. All right, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, because they don't see their faces are upright. You see who the prime minister's own. Right? They may shoot in secret at the perfect. Who is the perfect? Jake. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. This is an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And best believe, they allow the crime to get that bad to come in with the solution. This is just the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. They allow the problem, they say a problem, people react, they ask for help, they with the crime situation too bad, and guess what? They come with the solution to lock it down. To oppress the Jake. Not all Jake be doing that shit. Right? But at the end of the day, this is all the judgment of the Lord. Alright? Verse 6 says, they search out iniquities. They accomplish what? A diligent search. Alright? Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Right? So they do these things. They plan behind the scene and then give these politicians, the orders to do what they have to do. It's what, this is Isaiah 10, verse 1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, right, through their laws, unfair laws, right? To turn aside the needy from judgment. Who is the needy? Jake. You so-called Negroes here, right? From judgment, and to take away the right. And in Trinidad, there's a lot of the tribe of Judah, a significant presence of the tribe of Judah in Trinidad, from different sources. All right, so the Negroes are here too. All right. And the so-called West Indians. All right. Tribe of Benjamin and Levi, as well as the Northern Kingdom now. A lot of tribe of Asher here, and so forth, so on and so forth. Right. You have to understand. So there are Mexicans here as well too. Okay. So-called Mexicans. Okay. So you have to understand what Jake gonna be oppressed. It said to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, what? And that they may rob the fatherless. All right, and that's taken away what inalienable rights. All right, it is not going to be any rights to speech. All these things are going to be taken away. The famine of the word is coming soon. All right, the famine of the word is coming soon. You best believe they're gonna come back with more and more of this legislation to tighten it up. All right, because what they're practically talking about here, fuck, was it here? Select it. Just bear with my moment here. Yeah, so what they're really talking about here, putting this bill for the zones of operations. It kind of reminds you of the 10 FEMA zones in America as well. All right, so you can see who's behind this and who runs America. Those issues, those JOOs. All right. So you see what is the so-called FEMA zones. So this is what she's putting Trinidad and Tobago into FEMA, into basically these zones. Because what they're going to bring, bring chaos. All right, and to bring it in, they have to create that chaos to bring in the new world order. All right, and this is what they're going to be doing. Talking about military checkpoints, curfews, stop and searches. Hell, this reminds me of the scripture. In fact, let me go here. The Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 16. It says what? For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes. Because things getting to that point. Trinidad and Tobago has been a sedated people, but very soon, when people in Jamaica get anything to eat, they gonna have things. Very likely gonna have race wars. Right? They can see it building up. All right, so you can see it building up, because since this prime minister had come in power, this Elamite prime minister, she's been outright targeting Jake. All right, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right, she's going to stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right, so they're gonna have people gonna have their guns and whatnot. robbing one another, all these things that. So you're not going to be able to go into a city. All right, as you say, going to have the checkpoints, right? Stop and search, curfews, timing. You can't go out beyond a certain time. All right. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And there's a lot of pride out in Trinidad. So the city is going to be troubled. Houses shall be destroyed, and men going to be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. This was all about. This was coming. Right? This was about to come. But understand that this is the dastardly acts of the banking elite. Right? Know that they're the ones behind it. Isaiah 32:6. Right? It says what? For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquities. This is a plan of Esau. Right? To practice hypocrisy and to utter error against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Right? Because you had the prime minister now, making she made a lot of statements on her platform before she was elected, and now she's there in the position now. Most things she's turning back on now. Right? Because she got those orders from high ups. Right? It says to practice hypocrisy and to utter error against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. This is where she coming to. It's all an attack on Jake. Alright? It's all an attack on Jake. Jake is the target. Alright? The instruments also of the churl, which is his scoundrel, are evil. He devised wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words. Right? This is what it's about. Even when the needy speak it right. So they're going to destroy the poor with lying words. And that's what these politicians are all about anyway.
Parliamentary debate, Lord.
It's all a pack of lies. They speak lies. And time they move in their mouth is a lie. Because why? They like the father, the devil. When Esau Edom, so-called white man. Alright, this is what they come into. This is what it's all about. So you have to understand it. And hey, beware. The end is near. Till next time, Shalom wa Harag Babal.